thank you very much to you. And first of all, thank you very much to Cybercamp for having invited me to be here with you today. And I would like to welcome you to my talk. Morning, 10:30 on a Sunday. Well, it's not a typical day and time of the week to give a presentation. All right, and as it was said in my presentation, I will be talking about the shortage in the market of cybersecurity experts. So this is the table of contents of my talk. I will give you an introduction, then I will talk about the current situation, then I will share with you some research studies, then I will talk about, real life, and then conclusions. This is me. This is my introduction slide, okay? This is me with all these labels, stickers, and all these names and icons. Well, and this is all from me, okay? This is my Twitter address. You may follow me if you want to fit in my ego. All right, and now let us move on right into my talk. Well, often I give talks about IoT, embedded system, drones, hacking hardware. So this is what I focus when I deliver technical presentations. Nevertheless, in recent years, I've been observing the labor market situation, what is being said about security jobs, and therefore I would move on and talk about current situation. So therefore, I'm going to move on to a number of news. 350,000 experts in cybersecurity are searched. 2/3 of companies do not have enough personnel to face challenges and threats in the network. More news along those lines. This is one of my favorite ones, also from El País. Companies are desperate in the search for personnel with technological expertise. And here we see, 10 technology branches with the highest job offers and job vacancies. So there are many news and articles in this regard about how companies could fill that gap of shortage of technology profiles. So this is what we see in the news. More news. 45% of companies are facing a big problem. They do not have enough cybersecurity experts. Shortage of 900,000 experts. So the previous news was about 350,000. Now they say 900,000. So companies want to bridge the gap between training and education and job markets. So in 2020, 3.5 million experts in cybersecurity will be demanded in the market. And well, you may go and say these are news in mainstream papers. But it's not only that. We also have people at MIT. Well, people at MIT are taking to be very serious, and they said that the shortage of experts in cybersecurity obliges them to hire students. It is estimated that in 2021 there will be 3.5 million of job vacancies open. Therefore, to fill that gap, companies are putting their eyes on or resorting to students. Okay, let me check there. Well, we don't have an expert in cybersecurity there either. And I go and wonder, where do those news come from? And as I say, I decided to search about the origins of those news. The first thing that I do was just to consult a PDF file of by INCIBE. And this has been taken out from the PDF file published by INCIBE, where we can read, on the one hand we have the recruiters, and on the other hand we have talent. Recruiters are demanding experts in cybersecurity with technical expertise. The demand of professionals has been increasing in the last decade on an ongoing basis. This is the source of this data, and then on the right we can read as follows. People with talent. In 2020 this will be a big explosion. So be careful and protect yourselves. So we have detected a talent leak. Well, I'm glad that that has been detected. This is like detecting water in Niagara Falls. And there is something here which says here in a small letter that says that these studies are based on ISC2, which is the International Information System Security Consortium. And this specifically refers to 2015 study. However, there is a latest one. It's about global information security workforce study. One of the actions that are proposed by INCIBE in the PDF file is become a hacker. So there were 14 actions suggested. This was one of them. Career orientation in cybersecurity for teenagers and young people. So it seems that they are being proactive. They really want to appeal people to the field of security. I consulted the study that I mentioned before. And what did I find in that study? A question now. How many of you did never ever realize that there was a shortage of talent in cybersecurity? Have you ever read these studies? Has anyone consulted these studies and read them? Well, I did that myself. And I checked the methodology used for that study. And notice this was the methodology, a survey. This study, they didn't check the job offers or anything else. They just followed the results of surveys conducted to a number of individuals. What data we have? Yeah, only 1% of cybersecurity experts are out of the job market, are unemployed. 92% of hiring managers say that experience in cybersecurity is important. And they also show a graph about 2022 and the number of experts that will be needed and that will not be found. But this is found on the opinion of professionals. I don't know whether you've seen the film Harry, the Dirty Harry. I really like that movie. And especially when they say, well, opinions are like bats, everyone has got one. Okay, let us see. Well, this is highly respectable. Okay, let us see what's their opinion. Let us see who's behind that research study and that survey. So here we have auditors, analysts, architects, strategists, consultants, managers. Okay, that is to say, people who hire. This is the opinion of those who will be hiring experts. So they gave their opinion and they say, well, we are needing personnel. There is a shortage of talent and of experts. Here on the left we have this pie chart, and when they say, well, I primarily ask my colleagues from the Internet Consortium, and well, they give me the opinion about the situation in the market. Okay, and now this is the source of that research study. You want to find out more, and you may go and say, yeah, people's opinions, professionals' opinions. This is respectable, but it is just an opinion. And now I'd like to show you this other piece of news that was published some time ago. And it's a news about the CEO of an AV manufacturer. Not appealing this generation to this professional could end up having high costs, because there is a limited amount of talent in cybersecurity which is not being taken advantage of, which is not being exploited, and these people would end up working in different industries. They were saying that not appealing this talent would cost high amounts of money. I don't know whether you are here to listen to talk about talent, but I hope that you're already getting my point, okay? However, another news says the future of education. Have you ever heard 65% of the future jobs do not exist? Do not yet exist. Who said that? We just don't know who said that. Someone invented that, decided to say it was a CEO, and he said, okay, 65% of future jobs do not yet exist. When they go and say 65% of whoever will do whatever, no one knows exactly what will happen in the future. If I could tell the future, things will be different. Not even fortune tellers can tell us about the future. Experts say that 2/3 of students would end up having jobs that do not exist nowadays. Who will be counting that? Okay, what happens if in 2030 you have a job that existed before in 2018? And that's why I have included this photograph here. It's a seller of elixir. He's selling snake oil. And then also MIT, in one of its articles, said the following: the myth of the skills gap. He says, well, something doesn't work up. Okay, this is from a confidential newspaper. Well, the following lie. There are good enough jobs, but people are not qualified enough. And now I need some water. Look, if you make a big effort to say that there is skills gap, why are you saying that there is a gap, there is a gap, there is a gap? Can you imagine a young person saying, well, there is a gap of companies demanding my skills? Imagine someone saying that on TV. Well, they will go and say, look, guy, are you stupid? Like, say, go get a life, okay? Find yourself a job. However, if a company says that there is a gap, there is no problem. But young people or students cannot really say that there are no companies offering them a job. Okay, this is how the market goes. I do drones, okay, this is a closed loop. And this is the way the free market operates. When I say a free market, I'm referring not only, well, to the basic legal aspects that are taken for granted, but it goes on to the following. If I have something that you want, that is to say my skills, okay, I'm ready to share my skills with you as long as I get some money in return. So this is the way it goes. If there is a good match, if there is a good fit, okay, we just enter into an agreement. And this thing about an excess of, or a shortage of, or a gap of, well, we should kind of understand it, or kind of rephrase it. I go and say, oh, we heard, well, companies are desperate in the search for talent. Well, I don't doubt that. But I'm going to say, okay, I will visit InfoJobs site, I will visit job portals, and I will type in cybersecurity. And then I will press enter. And then these are the results that I get. The results that I get are somehow curious or interesting. The Nova Aeronautic Division, Madrid, Getafe, salary not specified, salary non-specified, programmer in Java. Well, you may do this search yourselves, okay? Just check that in job portals. This is what you will get. When you go and see that, you say, well, I don't think that companies are that desperate. Go figure that I'm in the desert and I'm desperate for some water. And then a guy is driving a jeep, okay, comes to me and says, well, this is for you, go ahead. Then I go and drink it. I go and say, oh, it is carbonated water, it's still water, this is not good for my stomach. And he may answer, well, weren't you desperate for water? Well, this is kind of a curious desperation. According to SEPE, which is a government entity for employment, studying the job market, SEPE says the average salary of expressing security is in the range of 17,000 to 33,000. I'm not going to say whether this is too high or too low. That should be checked against other professions. For instance, I don't know, working at a till in the supermarket, okay, which is also within that salary range. Or for instance, I don't know, installer of AC equipment, air conditioning equipment. And that's it, I wouldn't say anything else. And when company says, well, we want to hire people with vocation, well, probably you will be in the following situation, because it happened to me before. When you go to a job interview, you go there, you tell them about your skills, and then they tell me about the money, they tell me about the salary. I cannot really mention the salary, they have to mention that first, okay? And then job interviewers go and say, well, regarding salary, we are looking for talent with vocation. And I said, look, I already told you about my vocation. I took a technical test, and I also answered all your technical questions, and I told you about my skills, training, education. And well, probably you will end up going to job interviews and then in markets, and then, well, the companies will find different vetting techniques, okay, to pay less, okay? And well, most, if that were to be the case in the past, Mosa would have been fired. They would have said, well, they would have thought that he was not talented enough. As I says, well, we are looking for talent, we need talent. What is talent about? Talent is not about you infused capacity. Talent is something that the others cannot do. Many years ago, scribers were considered to be talent people, and now that has changed because over time more and more people learn how to read and write. So when they say that there is a skills or talent gap, then if you apply the supply and demand equation, what is the result that you get? The result that you get is like, I want to hire talent, but I just don't want to having to negotiate anything. Okay, let me explain this. When you hear that companies have difficulty in hiring experts, and especially experts to fill top positions, and I say, well, I wish this is true. I wish this is what actually happens. Well, I hope that companies have difficulty in that, because if companies can get whatever they want at any time, wherever they want, they will not be ready to pay for it. So, well, if so, they would just decide not to pay as much as they should pay. So when they say that there is a talent gap, they mean that they want that talent right away. And if they don't like that talent, that there will be other talented person waiting for that job. And as I say, your talent is not measured by what you can do, but what the others cannot do. So what companies want is just to, well, for talent to increase as much as possible so that they don't have to negotiate anything. And this is like printing money. Saying that there is a talent gap, it is like saying that there is a gold gap. How much do you think gold will be worth if everyone will have 100 kilos of gold at home? Same price, same value, or 5 cents less the value? I was in Madrid, I was traveling by tube, and there was a person begging for money. Well, imagine that if I go and ask this person, well, do you need a Tesla car? And then I would go and say, do not think about the cost of it. Do you want a Tesla car? And he would answer, of course, I want it. Give it to me. Okay, along. One more car to be manufactured because there is a person who wants it. Okay, this is the mechanics who, what is behind these research studies. Okay, let us go back to this slide. Okay, where hiring managers are asked whether they want to have more people to negotiate with. What type of question is that? It's the same as asking me to say, okay, would you like not having to negotiate or agree on anything with anyone? So that is to say that you will have so many people available to you that if you don't like someone, you will have very many other people to choose from. So asking this type of question to hiring managers, it is like cheating yourself when you are playing cards. And when these hiring managers are asked how many talent do you want to have? Okay, what can you really show that there is actual demand or that there is an actual gap? So companies should also ask themselves, do I have a good enough infrastructure to be competitive in the market? Do I have, I'm in the position to respond to the market demand? So the problem here is thinking that any job vacancy that they have is just appropriate to be filled. And if there is a job vacancy, it's a problem. But anyway, if it is a problem, it is your problem. But it is not a problem of society, not a problem of students, not a problem of anyone. It is your one and only problem. The same problem that students or young people face when they are, well, to be hired or to get a job. Well, we have never heard from young people saying, well, there is a shortage of companies who are not ready to pay me for my skills or to acknowledge my talent. All right. Now, time for STEM vocation. Well, probably you've heard that there is a gap in STEM jobs. Companies will demand that a lot in the future. Well, if you don't follow me in Twitter, I recommend you do it. You will see that sometimes I write about STEM vocations and then I wonder why. And I say, why? Well, because the world is moving in that direction. But you may go and say, well, call me crazy, but I want people to do whatever they want to do with their own life. Well, if they want to go into STEM career, good. But if they don't want to follow that direction, that's good for them. I'm not going to tell them what they should do with their life. Neither myself, nor the industry, nor anyone else. So I have the feeling that STEM vocation should be fostered. Is it because someone is just counting money? Well, they are counting money, and in their balance, they do not, well, the balance do not work out. They say that they have a problem. This is like Henry Ford. Anyone could do whatever they want to do with their life, as long as what they do with their life is STEM, or follows STEM direction. Well, STEM profiles will be highly demanded by companies. When I pay taxes, I want young people to be trained and to be good citizens. I just don't want them to be the stupid guys of the 21st century. So it is not a question of manufacturing young people just to cover for that STEM job gap. That's what I pay my taxes for. I want people in society to be trained, but to be trained across the board. Have you ever heard about web programming should be taught in the classroom, should be one subject at the school? I'm very happy about that, but we should ask why. Why? To broaden the horizon or of people's mind, or because industry or companies are demanding that? Okay.
Vocación.
When they speak about vocation, well, this is funny. This is my vocation. I make drones. I have my job, but in my free time, I like building drones with rubbish. That one, Atropos, has been made with wood and a router. Somebody tell me, what can you do? I say, among many other things, make routers fly. This is the last one I presented in DEFCON. This is me, younger, at the campus party. They used to tell us, you are the future. Yes, but fuck hasn't present. And this is really funny to me, because lately I've seen many competitions to promote talent, to show your abilities. I've just taken part in very few competitions. Please read the conditions of competitions, because it's rubbish. You'll find rubbish everywhere. This competition was the free test of Campus Party, the one that used to take place in Valencia. People told us, bring your robot, your rubbish, show us, and if we like it, we'll give you €700, and then you take them away. That's a competition. But other people say, can you carry out an audit for free? please read the condition. It's okay not going to some places because they're going to fool you. So be ready to be fooled. What can you do? Please show me your abilities. Well, this is it. Show me yours. So, since we're speaking about DEF CON, I would like to tell you a story. I'm saying this because some people cannot make a difference in my talks between hard facts and stories. The previous things were hard facts, now I'm going to tell you a story. I gave 2 talks at DEF CON. And before one of my talks, I was having lunch with friends. Some of them are here today. I was a bit nervous before my talk. I had done this drone with Chinese sticks. And a Spanish guy came to me. And we started to talk, and he said, I hire people and I have a problem. And there's a shortage of people. And I said, I can't believe it. Even in Vegas, I found this sort of mantra. I cannot be here on my own. And he said, oh, you're David Meléndez. Oh, yes, I'm going to give a talk about drones. Well, I've seen a drone there. Yes, I know those guys because I'll give a talk later. And he was trying to explain me what drones were. And he said, we have a problem because I need people and I can't find them. But what's your problem? I said. He said, well, the market is growing, profiles are more expensive, people are leaving. If the market goes up, people quit. And I thought, have you ever thought of paying them more money? Call me crazy, but if the market decreases, I don't know about you, but when market decreases, you know that it's decreasing. But when it goes up, well, what a problem. Well, imagine that I hire a guy that knows half the things that the people I have there, and he charges me twice their salary. Well, there could be frictions. I say, okay, you have to manage that. Some people will say you're a mercenary, you're just looking for money. I've been working in the same company for 6 years. You cannot say that change companies, but there's a difference. I'm not an idiot. Well, it's interesting. You have a Spanish guy in front of you. He's presented in black hat and now he's in DEF CON. And the only thing you can come up with is telling that person that there's a horrible situation, there's a dramatic situation. So I guess you're not that desperate. I'm happy, but what you're saying that's going on and what you're doing do not match. You're not consistent. I'll try to give you an example. It's like if you say, I want to get married, but I want people to hit on me. I'm not going to do anything. They have to come to me. So I'm desperate to get married, but I'm not going to do anything. And I'll tell you another story. When I get really, really angry and I talk to my parents, they're great, my parents. When I talk to them about this, they say, just forget about this. And my mother says, look, when I used to work in graphic arts back in the 70s, there was a shortage of machine operators in printing machines. So from other companies, they came to a company to talk to the operator and they said, I don't care what your salary is. If you come to my company, I pay you 30% more. That's being desperate. That's being desperate, not this other thing. saying, oh, it's dramatic. Well, you can come to my selection process. If you're desperate, you cannot choose anything. Beggars can't be choosers. I'm not saying that you should have a specific behavior. I'm just comparing your attitude with reality. It's really naive being here on stage explaining supply and demand to companies. It's like kids explaining Coco, the guy from Sesame Street, what the difference between being close and being far away from something. No, he knows that. I don't believe these people don't know what supply and demand means. They really know what it means, and that's why they're saying that there's a shortage of talent. Because the more people enter the market, the less they will need to compete for anything. So of course someone will say, well, not every company is the same. Of course, we wouldn't be here otherwise. So obviously, thank you for nothing. There are companies which are different, they compete. What the industry has to do is competing in the market. How can I attract more people? I compete in the market, the conditions will go up when people realize, well, this is funny. People say, young people are not aware of the very good conditions that STEM and cybersecurity have. So you're saying they're stupid, right? Don't you think they know what a computer is or how things work? I knew that, and there was no Facebook back then. It's like saying my product is very good, but people don't buy it because people don't know about it. We're asking people to be humble at job interviews. I want people to be humble, but I'm not. It must be some sort of offsetting thing, because otherwise I don't get it. If you want humble people, well, you should be humble yourself. So, conclusions. People are told that they need a vocation, and when they have it, let become an excuse for people to negotiate against it. What do I mean? Since you have a vocation for that, you like this. Why would we speak about money? Haven't you said that it's an industry that moved millions and millions? When I've studied, I have to study because of my vocation. So, what's going to be? What are you attracting? People with vocation, people who want money? Who is in the IT industry for money? Are you an idiot? What's the ROI? Now that people say that they have to treat people like a nano company, there's an ROI on things, a return on investment. You study 4-5 years, depending if it's vocational training, university. You just pay for it. And your time. You invest your time. For nothing? Well, of course, cybersecurity is not for junior people. You have to have some sort of experience. You need a master's degree. Or advanced training, and having been a programmer or a developer, you need something else. So that means 6 years. So quoting experts from the industry, they say, are there job positions in the industry? Yes, if you have studies, your degree, and a master's degree, and you've worked in something, you may have a position, well, like in any other place, which is not dead. If you're desperate for something, you're not in a position to control the negotiation. You cannot say that there's a shortage of talent and the salary depends on your value. It never depends on your value. So let's play to guess the price, a technique by human resources that I love. They call you, are you interested in a position, in a specific position? What's your salary? So what's your figure, sorry? And I say 75 kilograms when dressed. So why do you call me? Do you want a market study for free? Market survey for free? Well, I do that, but you have to pay for that. Market surveys, something you have to pay for. So if they ask you how much you want to earn based on a very brief and biased description of a job position, they make you play to this quiz called Guess the Price, where you have to guess the price, but you can never go above the price. If you're above the price, well, next person. If you can do that in the market, you cannot say you're desperate. Being desperate is what my father taught me back in the 70s. I didn't even have time to check whether you can do reversing or the version you control. No. We want people with competences. But what version did you use? Angular? Well, you can't have it both ways. If you're desperate about something, you cannot establish the price, you cannot choose, you cannot say welcome to my job process. Perhaps you don't have a clear idea about what you're getting into. What is the IT industry? Okay. Are you going to have a job? Yes. But it's not a dream industry. You need to be different from others. If I have to be different from others, there's not a shortage. You have to study, work, give talks. I need to upload things in GitHub. I have to post things. Well, you can divide the number of hours you invest in that, divided by the salary you get. Perhaps they're paying you less than a supermarket workers. I don't want to get them. This is what you want to do, what you like doing, what we like doing. If we were here for money, we wouldn't be here. But don't think I'm an idiot. If you're desperate about talent, you cannot wait until it knocks on your door. This is funny. They say, we're looking for people. I'm going to call a guy I've seen in LinkedIn. I call him, are you interested in taking part in my hiring process? It's like saying, are you interested in proposing to me? To get married. Well, if you want to get married, propose yourself. Don't ask me to propose. It's like, do you want to come to beg me for a job? I don't question that. If that's the situation, it's because the industry can do it, because they have the control, the negotiation power. Why do they say that there's a shortage of talent? It's because they don't want to lose the negotiation power. I want to have enough people asking for a job so that I don't have to offer it myself. That's natural. Who wouldn't want to have that? It's natural. I'm not questioning that. I'm not criticizing that. Who wouldn't want to have lots of people coming to you begging for a job? So saying that there's a shortage of talent, that's not going to change. It's an investment they're doing. Saying that there's a shortage of people, that has worked for them for many years and it still works. So it's never going to change. Because it makes them make money. if you do that, you stay in the same position. You're comfortable negotiating. I want to be in a position in which I don't have to discuss or negotiate anything with anyone. When they say, oh, there are positions which are not covered. Yes, it's the only way that someone receives a salary higher than the minimum wage. Why could I pay more if I can pay less? That happens to all of us. If you go to AliExpress, you pay for the cheapest thing. Everybody does the same thing, and so do they. So why would they pay more if they can pay less? If I can pay less? So you would say, someone would say, I offer lots of things, but no one's coming. Well, I don't know what to say. This is the market. Other people say, well, David, what you've said is actually biased because the good offerings, job offerings in cybersecurity, which never get published, the salaries you've shown there are biased. Okay, I give you that. Okay, I accept that this is biased, although it's based on SCP. But if you can afford not to publish a job offering, there's no shortage of people. Because you don't need to publish it, and you're covering the position, so I don't know what you're talking about. If you say there's a shortage of people, well, it's easy. Go look for them. But you need to say, I don't know what you do, but I pay you this amount of money. But some people would say, money is not everything. Well, anything you can offer to negotiate time, flexibility, whatever people want, doesn't need to be money. We're not speaking just about money. I would like to finish my talk by thanking you. And if you have any question, I'll be happy to take it. Thank you very much.